What's going on, man?
I knew you were going to be here. I got trash bags for you. I'll bring them tonight. Your wife said your wife ordered trash bags for her
Okay.
while she was interim principal.
Nice.
So
All right.
yeah, it's all good.
Always use trash bags.
That's right. It's good. Good fundraiser. Things going all right.
Yeah, things are going good.
It's good.
Things
That's
are going
good.
Getting ready to kick off the season, man.
Yeah. Golf.
No.
Oh.
That too.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's warming up. It's
Yeah.
gonna start picking up for you, isn't it?
Exactly. So,
Nice.
big things on the agenda tonight.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
I'm sure it will be.
I'm sure it'll be fun. I told Brittany and me just have to go out after.
There you go.
So
Well, we'll get through it.
that's right. Always do.
I'm just a wallflower over there.
Must be nice. Why? Oh, nice. Nice. It is crazy. I'm good. How are you? Yep, that's what I'm doing. Well, it's not that I'm not very good, it's just that my neck can't take it. So, totally understand. Random question. I'm over here at the council chambers, and you may not know. I've got this iRig 2 set into Kendra's iPad, and for some reason the Mevo is still utilizing the external. You know what? Now I'm wondering if it's just not even run back there. I don't think it is though. It's not picking up the plugged-in sound, which makes me think. I wonder if it's not even like set up right for it. Yeah, let's try that. Never mind. I'm gonna have to think about it. I think I figured it out. I'm gonna have to think about it, but I think I figured out why it's not putting anything out. Yeah, I think I've got the wire. That's just the video. That's what I need. Yeah, okay. I think I might have it now. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. I think I just had to talk to you, that's all. You didn't have to answer or do anything, but I just had to talk to you. It's going, but yeah, so what's up? What were you gonna text me about something, huh? Yeah. Right. Yep, I get you. No. Well, your dogs are super easy because we watched some dogs this past weekend, and it was nutty. They did not like me, so I was useless. I was not a help at all. But yeah, just send me. I mean, if you want to message me the dates, I'll take a look and see what we got. And because I mean, I think Elle will be all for it for sure. Yeah, no, and it is. It's easy for us too, and I don't. Maybe you didn't even say dates yet, but right now, we've got that dance coming up, that event. So our Saturdays are crazy, but we've made it work before. So just shoot me the dates, and I'll take a look, and if we can do it, I'll let you know, and if we can't, then. Yeah, I'll let you know that too. So. Yeah. There you go. All right, well, that all sounds good. Yeah, just text me those dates and I'll get with them. So, all right, we'll see ya. Bye. Testing 1, 2, 3.
bit. Thought we'd get her up early so she would get back. Please come forward.
First off, thank you all so much for having me. I have a few bags that have my business cards and some office collateral. And if you would like more of them, Well, thank you all so much for having me today. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you all. Just jump right into it. So, as your Indiana Attorney General, Tyler works to protect your rights. Your rights to live your life in an environment free from deceptive and predatory business practices, where your unclaimed assets are returned to you as quickly as possible, where your tax dollars are protected from Medicaid fraud, where our businesses are protected from cyber fraud. Fraud hurts all our citizens, from our elderly citizens who have lived and served their country and communities, to our businesses on which we depend on for jobs and economic opportunity. How do we do this? Well, we have our Consumer Protection Division. This is one of the areas in which the Indiana Attorney General's Office provides services directly to constituents by state law. We cannot act as an individual's private attorney. However, through our Consumer Protection Division, we can offer you some services to protect you against fraud. So, how do we do this? Well, we conduct investigations and take legal action in response to violations of the Deceptive Consumer Sales Act, state and federal privacy laws, and other consumer-related statutes. We also take a preventative approach. This is where signing up for our Rakita review is especially important. We have announcements quite often about timely scams. We had a homeowner scam in which people would offer to do services, you pay in advance because it's hard to find someone to work on your home, then they didn't do all the services. Well, we started to warn people and that became a pattern. Additionally, we had a used car scam in which people from flood damaged areas would bring the cars up to the state of Indiana, make them look like they're just a regular used car, when in fact it's flood damaged, and they would break down on the side of the road. So we offer those services and we take that preventative approach to make sure you're up to date with our office. Additionally, part of our office is our Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. Within the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit, we are able, on a provider end, to prevent fraud in this area. From 2009 to 2020, our Medicaid Fraud Control Unit investigations led to 360 criminal convictions and more than $350 million in recoveries that went back to the state. One piece of our office that might interest you all is our advisory division as well. We can issue opinions to local governments upon request from their state legislator. And this offers guidance on interpreting and implementing laws and policies, especially timely now that we're all kind of seeing the new laws that have been made in the last session. So if you would like an advisory opinion, talk to your legislator. And my favorite part, some of you have unclaimed property push cards. It's our unclaimed property division. So in Indiana, we're the only state that this resides in the Attorney General's office. And unclaimed property is any financial asset that has not been moved or messed with for 3 years. And then it goes into our unclaimed property division, where it sits for 25 years. So this can be assets like stock dividends, insurance proceeds, pretty much any financial asset they can't get back to you will eventually make it to us. And if you don't claim it, it goes to the state's general fund. So we're trying to get out in the community, let people know you might have some money with the state. And how do you find unclaimed property? Go to indianaunclaimed.gov. And if you have questions, we have really wonderful people who work in the unclaimed property division and are very helpful. Again, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. If you don't now, please contact me.
Can you do anything about the spam phone calls?
Yes. So that is a common question we get. If you sign up for the Do Not Call list, that is especially helpful because what Attorney General Rakita has done is taken our fraud prevention as far as robocalls a step further. So he's working with the telecom agencies and he's making sure our software is up to date. And if you sign up for the do not call list, we can actually track your phone better and who's calling you, and making sure that when a robocaller does call you and is working through a state agency or business, which has most recently happened and we actually litigated that instance, we can track that and make sure you're being better protected. We can't stop them. They're very advanced, but we do our best.
So do you ever have to update that once you signed up, you're signed up? Correct?
Once you signed up, you're signed up. Yeah, it's pretty quick. And then if you do get a robocall, we recommend writing down that number, going for a consumer protection division, saying, I got this call from an unwanted caller. You can track it that way as well.
In addition to Medicaid fraud, probably what happens more in this area is people needing Medicaid. Is that through your office, or do we reach out to our legislators?
Yeah, that would be not through our office. I would reach out differently. We're only in instances where on the provider side, someone's trying to steal from Medicaid or the people individually.
Would you be willing to entertain any question you might have from the audience out there?
Yeah, of course.
Would anybody have a question, concern? Okay, I don't see it. Really appreciate you coming tonight. Very nice presentation. You did keep it nice and compact.
I practice.
Yeah. Well, you hit the unique points. You hit the points and you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the back.
I'm
Thanks for
really
the
looking forward to this, so thank you all so much.
Drink candy or food in this bag?
There's an RFID phone wallet. That's
Okay.
Okay, now we'll move on to resolutions. The first thing we have is Resolution 040422-1. This is authorizing the filing of an application for Transportation Department. Resolution authorizing the filing of an application for a grant under Section 5311 of the Federal Transit Act as amended for the calendar year 2023. Whereas the U.S. Department of Transportation is authorized to make grants to states through the Federal Transit Administration, the FTA, to support capital and operating assistance projects for non-urbanized public transportation systems under Section 5311 of the FTA Act of 1964 as amended. Whereas the public transit section, Indiana Department of Transportation has been designated by the governor to make Section 5311/5339 grants for public transportation projects. As a contract for financial assistance will impose certain obligations upon the applicant, including the provision by it of the local share of project costs. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle, Indiana, that 1, the mayor, Greg York, is authorized to execute and file an application on behalf of the City of Newcastle with the NDOT aid in the financing and transit assistance project pursuant to Section 5311 of the Federal Transit Act as amended. 2, Mayor Greg York is authorized to furnish such additional information as NDOT may require in connection with the application. 3, the Mayor Greg York is authorized to execute a grant contract agreement on behalf of the City of Newcastle, Indiana. And I move we pass this resolution.
Second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I know we do this every year, but Mr. Harvey, this is a federal requirement?
It is. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. I hear no other discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye. Then our next resolution is amending ordinance 3871. That's ordinance number 3880. That's when we are increasing the pool manager's salary by $1 an hour, which puts it in line with the other things. So I move we pass that on second reading.
Second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. We pass ordinance 3880 on second reading. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock. Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens. Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye. That passes 6-0.
I'd like to make the motion to suspend the mandatory reading for the third.
Okay, second. discussion? Moved and seconded to pass or to suspend the rules, vote this for third reading. Roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock. Jerry Walden. Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beckman.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion for the third and final reading on 3880.
It's been moved and seconded for third and final reading on 3880. Discussion, hearing none, roll call vote.
Mike Duffy.
Aye.
Jeff Hancock. Jerry Walden. Aaron Dickens. Lynn Purdue. Rex Beckman.
Aye. Passes 6-0. Okay, now I would like to come up with another piece of business. Mr. Coder couldn't be here, but he wanted me to make it clear that this motion I'm about to give is, the finance committee was unanimous on this motion to take place. And so I move that the Newcastle City Council supports Greg York's and Henry County Newcastle Sports Park application for food and beverage tax money for a sports park, and that this support be contingent upon Greg York and Henry County Newcastle Sports Park forming a separate 5013C not-for-profit with its own bank account separate from any city Newcastle finances. I further move that the City Council respectfully ask the County Council to make any award to the Henry County Newcastle Sports Park contingent upon the Henry County Newcastle Sports Park obtaining its own 5013C not-for-profit status in their own bank account separate from the finances of the City of Newcastle. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Get an update on this plan for those of us that haven't been involved in it.
Is that legal, Joel? I mean, is that okay that we need to get with
Well,
Max Miller?
I mean, what's being requested is that the city council is indicating that its support, support is, they're indicating we'll support this project if you do X, Y, and Z. That's not necessarily binding on the county council. Now, certainly if there's ever any money to support this project going forward, the city council would have a hand in determining whether that's expended.
If it were in the city coffers.
If it's a city property.
If it's in not-for-profit, then it wouldn't be our purview.
No. If it's a city property, you would have some discretion over future
Well, it
funding.
wouldn't be a city property if it's not-for-profit.
Correct.
That's what we want. We want a not-for-profit.
Okay, so really, this just removes the city of Newcastle from any financial responsibility.
Right, it removes us from liability for future expenses, operating costs, maintenance. You know, right now, we had the gentleman stand before us and say we had a sewage treatment plant that needed $31 million worth of work. We need to be addressing that. We've got, we have a hard time maintaining the things we have. So that's why the finance committee felt it was important. We're not against the sports park, but if the sports park is as good as what Greg is saying, then a not-for-profit running it is not going to be any worse than the city, but the city and its taxpayers won't be liable if it doesn't work. So, we want to make sure the city and its taxpayers aren't liable.
All right. Do you have a copy of that so I can?
And to answer your question, Aaron, actually, I've got a tour. I'd love for anybody that would love to go on that. I'd love for them to go. If you can't go to Pendleton and Noblesville, I can go over the plan and program with you anytime. But I would like to set up a time that literally take a field trip and show you what we've got on.
I think, for me personally, and I guess I'll just put this out there, I'm more probably interested in a feasibility study, a sustainability study, plans on management, because, we've seen in the news lately, Grand Park is being sold to another owner, and I can only imagine the time involved to book we can't get there, I'm just not sure. I mean, there's things that have to be in place to shore up. I think my support now, that's probably what I need to see. But I'm interested in sitting, I mean, I'm always happy to sit down with you and discuss.
Another sports park on the edge of Indianapolis closed this year and basically sold out to a warehouse because it couldn't make it. And it does concern me. And I know the mayor has talked for probably 3 years about this being a $15, $17 million project. And if 3 years ago it was a $15, $17 million project, what do you think that is now? Now it's probably, I don't know, 25 to 27. So I just have concerns about putting the taxpayers in Newcastle into a situation that might be similar to what I know a lot of people were upset about the Expo Center. I hate to think that we get out there and start making ground, never can complete something that is out there. So
This is
I just
totally
wanna
different than
not-
Expo Center. This-
Well, you know, that's what
nothing
you say, but, you know, we don't know that. And, you know, I've yet to see, even though I've yet to see a quote on how much baseball diamond costs to build. I've yet to see a quote on how much this building is gonna cost.
I've got them, you can come in.
Well, so we've been in finance committee meetings, and you've told us that, so why haven't you came to this council and laid out a folder to each of us, and said, listen, this is what we want to do?
You can do that anytime.
Well, you probably should have done it before you went in. I mean, you have a.
Well, I did.
You have.
I gave that to the finance committee.
No, we never saw a list of what the parts of the, an itemized list of what it was going to cost to build that. And if we did, like I say, 3 years ago, it's not the same today. You know, you formed a board, which may have been, I don't know if that's legal for you to form a board to do, you know, you formed the board, and two of the people didn't even know they were on the board. That was the great thing, you know. But you formed
It's
a
council
board.
people on this council was the only.
Right, they didn't, yeah, Jerry now is okay with it, but Mark didn't know he was on the board.
Yes, and I personally asked Mark.
Mark says you didn't, so,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, you know.
I mean, I also
But anyway,
think we can concede, I mean, from the county council's perspective, the food and beverage grant project, the committee, I mean, I think it should be stated that, you know, this project scored high. And I think it probably would be in terms of visitors and outside people. It has potential, but I don't think that sustainability is necessarily a checkbox on their, yeah, I could be wrong, so I apologize if I'm wrong, but on what they're looking at when they award that. And I think that's probably the most concerning to me is I want to see, you know, we look at the wastewater treatment plant, and that's a can that's kind of been kicked down, I mean, from decades, probably. From my tour, it's definitely decades. But, you know, we've got to plant more trees under whose shade we're not going to sit. We're not going to sit under.
Well,
We need
food
to do
and
a better
beverage
job
money,
doing that.
food and beverage money can't be used at the sewage plant.
No, I know that. I'm not saying that.
It could be, he could have applied for that, and I think it could be used for that, because it could be economic development, because if the sewage plant begins to fail, then that's going to affect Wards and all the other businesses in Newcastle. But that's,
And I'm not saying, I don't want to.
we have discussed this enough, so.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Lynn hasn't discussed anything.
Okay.
We've talked, like you said, we've talked about this for several years now, and we knew it was out there. And I just have to say that I personally have grandchildren involved when we travel for cheerleading events, dancing events, sports events. And those facilities we go to are extremely, those organizations are extremely successful. I know Grand Park failed, okay? But that's a whole different animal what we're talking about. So what that park could do for this community is just simply amazing. And I'm gonna give you about a 90-second little experience that I had. My wife and I were coming back from Florida one time. We stopped at Bowling Green, Kentucky on a Saturday afternoon about 3 o'clock. Must have been every main brand chain of hotels, every restaurant. This interchange was just full. We stopped at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had a very hard time finding a room. when I finally did find one, I asked the clerk, I said, what is going on? She says, it's youth sports. I said, girls softball? She said, softball, baseball, volleyball, cheerleading, it's everything. And I said, so how many times a year does this take place? She said, it's every weekend. Every single weekend, it was just packed. So I told my wife, I've been to Bowling Green as a kid. We used to go to Beach Bend Park. And I said, let's go downtown. I want to see their downtown just to see how this filtered into the community. We went to if anybody's from Kentucky, you know they all have doughboys in the center of town. So we drove around Doughboy, and I mean, Anyway, the downtown was just simply just packed with restaurants and boutiques and everything. So I know for a fact this can work. Now, it's also been known that the mayor said that at no point would we take city tax dollars for this project. That was never even discussed. And I understand what the ordinance says, Rick. That's you know, but you know what? At some point.
But does this keep a not-for-profit from doing the exact same thing and having the exact same result if they're passionate?
Well, I get that, but I just want everybody to know that this project is something this community needs. We all want growth. We're sitting here, and honestly, guys, we live in this community, and sometimes we're blind to what is really happening, you know. And we're doing great things, and we're doing all we can do, but that would just be such a huge shot in the arm out there that I just think it would just be a huge step for us in the right direction to grow our community. Now, what the mayor's been doing, in my opinion, is basically been taking temperature of the community and how we feel about this. There's not a lot of money been spent on engineering dollars to get those numbers you were talking about. He's got numbers from other facilities. It has a good feel, but you know, we're not going to spend a lot of money on engineering at this point. But that's just my 2 cents. Is we really need to get on board with this project, and I think it can do wonders for the food and beverage fund because it would just. We all want interchange 3 and 70 to grow. It's not going to grow until we have traffic flow in here for some reason, you know, for lodging and restaurants and so on. And I think that is just the grand slam that would make all that happen.
And it still can with a not-for-profit. It doesn't put the taxpayers in the castle. Okay, we've been moved and seconded. We've had discussion. Roll call vote.
Come on.
Okay, please.
So I was able to take this.
Now, you're on the board, correct? This not-for-profit?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And I was able to take the time to listen to the mayor's presentation. There are things added to it that I wasn't aware of. He explained that at the county council meeting. Back in the day, when I was coaching AAU and boys were involved in wrestling rinks, we went to a number of AAU wrestling tournaments. I suspect that you supported that. I know Ted was really involved with it. Spent a lot of money on those tournaments, personally, as a family. Great for the boys. Wrestling is probably one of the best things that happened. I coached AAU basketball team for 2 years. 10 boys from our community, and not accepting kids outside of the cast. Wrestling and AAU basketball, we went to Belmont, we went to Batesville, we went over to Indianapolis several times. Got to watch Bruce Rand as a 11 to 12-year-old get 18 3-pointers in Eagle Fieldhouse because of that experience. Maybe that had something to do with him being a Butler or full ride scholarship. I don't know. But I can tell you that as a family, we spend a lot of money traveling all over the place. And I support this project. I think it'd be good for us. I just wish someone 3 years ago would have brought up the idea of some other agent taking this over instead of giving a phone call and sweeping.
Well, we were told continuously that no money would come out of the city coffers or budget. Well, I read in the proposal that there's out for the 20% match, and part of that's going to be in kind. Well, where's that in kind come from? Well, it comes from city workers going out there and doing work. Okay, it does come out of the city budget. It does cost the taxpayers. It'll cost the taxpayers unless it comes to fruition. And when something's 17 million 3 years ago, and now it could be we don't know what it is because the mayor's not provided solid numbers on that. So, we don't know what that's going to be. And all of a sudden, we're working to keep that maintained. We're working to operate it. And it's nice to be able to say it's going to pay for itself, but a lot of things, including the expo center, supposedly are going to pay for themselves. And I won't say it again, Jerry, I won't say it again. But I just want the taxpayers of Newcastle not to be on the hook if this fails. Now, it doesn't mean that somewhere along the line, we don't partner with this facility ran by this not-for-profit. It should be for them. But right now, I don't think it's the time.
So what happens if it's a success?
Great. I'm happy for them. I might even donate to it.
I look at it as
I might even donate. Okay. So we've had a discussion. Roll call vote. No, we're not taking.
So you'd rather the public speak at the end? After
Yes,
the
they
vote's
speak
done,
at the end. Yes, they speak at the end.
unlike we've done a couple times. Okay.
Well, I just think that we can talk about this all night. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing over and over. So,
just to be clear, I mean, I think it's understood that this doesn't necessarily stop.
no,
I mean, this could still end up being.
county council could
Still vote for exactly what they want to do with it.
Whatever they want to do.
Because I understand the property's being donated, correct, real estate?
No,
Okay.
part of it, not all of it.
Okay, well, I mean, it would be, I guess conceivably no different if somebody came in and said, I want to donate this property, the board works, had the money, and they'll park on it.
Right.
I mean, it's up to you guys in future years to fund it, but that same scenario could happen here without any tax dollars. There may be future tax considerations on it, but
But this, of course, again, be not for profit.
it doesn't.
No, it says tomorrow night, the county council could vote to just give it, money. Well, if it's the same thing, but go ahead, Corey, I'll recognize you.
It's not the same thing.
Since you were on the committee, but I feel like you guys did not do a very good job of vetting the applications.
Easily.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, because
You guys didn't do a very good job of giving us notice.
Wow.
Where's the newspaper?
The advisory committee, and that's where I'm speaking from, is the advisory committee. The advisory committee is made up of citizen appointments from all across the county. And there was 9 of us, and unfortunately we had a death, Mr. Jim Shirley, and so there was 8 of us that finished. This council has an appointment. Was this raised with your appointment? Was this concerned?
no, because until Sunday, I did not know that there was a board that existed, okay? Because we were never informed by the mayor. Did not know that this was all being done to get money for the city of Newcastle. I thought it was a not-for-profit because every time I looked at anything in the food and beverage, it said Henry County Newcastle Sports Park, not-for-profit.
I'm not going to get involved between you and the mayor, or this council and the mayor on the project. But I'm going to defend the process.
Okay. I think the process was
9
probably
months.
good. I
9 months.
apologize for saying I didn't think you
Did you watch the presentations on YouTube?
I did see that.
Just scoring.
I mean,
Okay.
so this request to the county council, and I'm not speaking for the county council, I'm speaking as a participant in the process. This request to pause the food and beverage was really unfair. Really unfair. It speaks to a relationship between the city and county that I wish was better. Because the food and beverage is a tool for good. And it's put a damper on it. And you guys have an appointment, Mary Nicholson.
She did a good job.
She did a great job, but if y'all had concerns, talk to your appointment. I mean, we were not meeting in secret.
No, I didn't say you would.
We were very, very public about it. Very public. Numerous opportunities to get engaged and express concern. We even had some people write us about particular projects. And there was an opportunity to do that. And now, in what I'll call the ninth inning, Osborne Park applied from the city.
We knew about that.
Well, I mean, there were other
Right.
projects from the
And we're not
city.
talking about those right now.
I understand. I'm talking about the process,
Yeah.
President. I'm talking about the process. But I wanted you all to know that this was strange. Very strange. Thank you.
All right. Okay, roll call vote, please. Roll call vote. No, sit down, Chad. Roll call vote, please.
Mike
Someone could,
Aye.
must
Jeff
have
Booth,
that.
Gary Walden,
Nay.
Aaron Dickens,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Okay.
Rex Beckles.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, now, we'll move on to committee reports. Mike, Mr. Duffy.
I got just a couple of things. I don't know, who did these cuts in the road. It's been there for several months. 1600 block of Urban Street. And just right off of I. And there's another one at 25th Street and C. It's just right off of 25th Street going into the Belmont region. That's been there since last fall.
In those water, correct?
I had to check Bob. Yeah. We did. Eight last week. I had to check to see if there are water on, I can tell you, what across like the street. So we did 8 last week.
I don't lie.
The city, they're working on it, but they could be gas guys. 1600 block Bourbon and 27th and C, the other.
Okay, Mr. Hancock.
A couple things, Jerry, if I can meet with you after the meeting, and might take off. Oh, okay, if I can meet with you after the meeting. That's all you're on.
Mr. Walton.
So I have a question about when the construction starts on 16th Street. Open Arms Church Food Pantry operates on that alleyway between 16th and 17th Street. Can we get a waiver where that's not a one-way during that construction?
Well, we're getting ready to do 16th Street, and I think we're going to try to improve that, make a major change there.
16th will be closed, and right now, the only way you can access that roadway
From
is
7th
from 16th. So.
But on their pickup, don't they reverse that on pickup then?
Yeah, but there could be a mess up, because sometimes they use the back street there. Sometimes they do it in the parking lot. So that's maybe something to get with Paul and see what
It
works
works out
best
best
with
if they
him.
can try to do it in the parking lot, because they have access to Broad Street from the parking lot.
Yeah, because they have that entryway through the Broad Street. So you might want to get with Paul and talk to him about that. I could just see that being an issue with it, because they have a lot of people that go through that and use that. It's a busy food pantry here in town. And then also between Vine Street and Thornburg, the houses on the west side, the only way they had to get in and out to the garages is that back alleyway.
We drove
So
through
just
that.
make sure we communicate. with
Yeah, we
them.
drove that last week, and we got a plan.
Okay, good. 'Cause they have concerns.
Don't blame.
Hopefully so.
Don't blame.
Too bad we closed that road.
We addressed that at the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're aware of it.
Yeah, I addressed it.
Are they gonna have any public meetings before
They're
this?
supposed to have one on the 18th, at the city council meeting, yeah, 18th of this month.
Yeah, they're gonna come
Yeah.
before the council and do a
Public meeting.
presentation, do a Q&A with residents, so.
Okay, are we gonna advertise?
Yeah, we'll advertise that. We'll get more information on that.
They had a email blast, or a internet blast.
Yeah.
Put it on the internet.
Okay, good, that's good to hear. And, got some good news on the junkyard down on Brown Street, Brown Road. I didn't realize it, county council, but there is a enforcer, code enforcer now for the county, and they've been notified by letter that they're breaking codes, so hopefully they'll get cleaned up. I want to publicly thank Kenny Gray for getting back on that street as he did. So that's good news, and they are aware of the situation on 27th Street, eastward to 1st Street, south side. Like I know that makes you happy. So that's it.
Hey, Mr. Dickey.
When I decided to run for city council, probably a lot of you have similar experiences. You know, I was definitely thinking in one way it'd be more than barking dogs and sidewalks and potholes. But I knew, you know, I learned quickly and had some votes and some comments I regret. You just learn and you move on. But, you know, I know just running for this seat created a target in my back. I know when I make on the record comments, choose a side, because that's what we're doing, right? We're choosing a side of every vote. That target gets a little bigger. Maybe it gets smaller. I feel like it gets bigger. So I'm gonna make it bigger and isolate myself even more than I did 2 meetings ago. But I just am struggling with the relationships that we have here. And by that, I don't mean that we're agreeing and it's all butterflies and rainbows all the time, because it's not. But I've said time and time again, it all comes down to communication. I'm not going to point any fingers, we're not going to mention any names, because I think we're all guilty of it. But the victories and the failures can probably be pointed out to communication. It got to a point a few years ago where I just felt like I was sitting here. So I found, you know, working and throwing opportunities to carry Newcastle Main Street, that's where I found the little victories. Sitting down and talking with Corey and the EDC, that's where I found little victories. This whole greenhouse gas inventory thing, regardless of what you think about sustainable energy, is a victory because it moves us forward. It, at the very least, gives us a view of our community. So I hope to God at some point we can communicate better before meetings, during meetings, after meetings, because, and I'm not saying it has to be comfortable. Like, it's going to be uncomfortable. We're not council people in the city of Chicago where we can go to meetings and leave and never see anybody we make votes for. We're going to run into them at the grocery. We're going to run into them at Ace Hardware, wherever. Like, that's just the nature of the gig. But we all signed up for that. So that's my piece. I want to also invite County Council Person Malco. I mean, vote's already been taken, but I know he had some comments about the food and beverage process. I didn't know if he wanted to share those now or just hold on to them.
I mean, I can. It's sort of a moot point. The only thing I wanted to address was the potential landmine of what that decision makes and what it does for our bonding. So, I mean, I can if you want me to. Please do. So, again, this was a very long process that you got. Certain members of this body came at the very last second threw up red flags when they had months to do it, but so we've already gone through our process as the county council. So what potential with this change means is I, in good conscience, as the fiscal body, representative of the fiscal body of this county, can't vote to bond for money for an organization that we don't know exists. We borrow money and pay interest to set in a bank account until all this gets figured out. That's the potential landmine that you all just created by throwing this into the mix, because as a steward of the citizens' money in this county, in the food and beverage tax, I can't vote to borrow that money and set it in a bank account and pay interest on it. That would be foolish. That would be absolutely foolish. So that is the landmine that I wanted to bring up before I was so rudely asked to sit down. And that's what I wanted to say. I could go through the process. Corey did a great job. There's no sense in me repeating that. I think the committee, these people spent, 30 hours probably or more. I don't know the other track. It was incredible. And I have to commend them for all the work they did, pour into it, all the questions they asked, and everything that went into it. So that is what I wanted to say.
I'll say some words that are seldom heard here. I was wrong for not letting you talk. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
Those are 6 words you don't hear here very much.
I appreciate that. It wasn't that I wanted to even give my opinion. I just wanted to give some basic facts on representative of the fiscal body that was a concern that this resolution you passed this evening has caused. So that's what I wanted to make known.
I'll just end with, end of the day, it was not our decision to be where we're sitting tonight. It was all 2,000 people that voted in the city election or didn't vote in the last city election. But that's why I answer the phone when it rings. That's why I try to hear everybody. But that's all I have. Thank you.
A couple things. A brief little update on our Trojan Lane project. The kindness for food and beverage. It was a close vote, but we were awarded money for that project. And so with the money we got from food and beverage, private donors, city council from Riverboat, that project's going to move forward. And it will definitely all be landscaped this spring. The lighting, we still have some work to do on raising some money on the lighting side of it, but we will definitely have all landscaping done this year, so we're pretty excited about that.
Was part of the money from the food and beverage, was that to sustain it as well? Or is that something?
No. There was a little information or whatever. There would not be any money from food and beverage, city council, whoever will fund. None of that money would just be taken and invested in the foundation for the longevity of it. That never was any intent to do that. Only private money would have been in the foundation to sustain it. Yeah, because some of the private donors I talked to, that was a question. Was okay, say I donate to this, what happens 5 and 6 years when that needs, maintenance, shrub replacement, whatever? And I said, well, we've got a plan for that. So give a little more, and we'll build the foundation for that. So, but no, none of that money will be in the foundation. So just make that clear.
And it's not a project of the class of 74.
It is not. That never, but that was said. I don't know how that got out there.
Well, it's stuck.
It's stuck, but it did. I know.
That's the way we are.
It's a community project.
So the foundation will come from private individuals.
Fund sustain.
Yes. Yeah. I've got a ways to go yet to build that fund enough, but no tax dollars will go into that fund.
Here in a couple of years, you can give us a flyer for the class of 2004's 20-year.
Man.
Just
why wait?
Throwing that out
there. Did you say 2004?
Yeah.
You're such a baby.
On purpose.
One more thing. This comment, it's not up for discussion. The or anything like that. I just want to be on the record that going back to that Sunday call, I just want to know that phone call did not represent this council. That came from an individual. So, as a collective council, that phone call was not made. You get what I'm saying? I knew nothing about the phone call. And I take issue with someone making a phone call and representing the council when that's not the case. I just know that.
I did not represent, I called, I did not represent someone. But I expressed my concern.
I just think it's a given. The council president does that.
Well, I'm still an American citizen and exercise my right to free speech.
I think you have a responsibility to talk to all of us too before that phone call.
Well, I talked to tried to. Anyway,
that's all.
But I am going to thank you for your work on the Trojan Lake project. Well, class of 74. And I have no report, so I'll turn it over to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief.
The only thing, like, I know, we see some tire cracks out at the Heights Park, and we're trying to work on it. It's very hard to catch them in the act out there, so, we've been knocking on some doors, trying to get the word out that if they're caught, that we're gonna go ahead and tow the vehicle in. That's the only way we can really stop it, is to punish them in their pocket. More likely it's kids, but still, the parents are gonna have to get the vehicles out of tow, which will cost a couple $100, but they'll stop their kids from driving the vehicle.
Where did you say that was?
Out of the top of the Heights Park. I know it's tracks there today, and I started knocking on doors. Got nobody to answer.
Chief, I can tell you, out there, good luck getting scoop on something.
All the old timers are gone.
I know it.
They would say something.
I went to the one yard that was nothing but solid mud and had an ATV sitting in there. I heard people running around, but like,
You're outside.
that's all.
Okay. Chief, I was hoping that Chief Boatwright would be here tonight. Chief Boatwright's last meeting, so I'm really hoping he'd be here. After 34 years of service to our community, he's retiring, and here in a couple of weeks. When's the date for his?
14th will be his last day on duty, and we're gonna have an open house for him at the armory at noon. So we'll put details on the socials.
What is the date again?
April 14th.
So if you see Chief Boatwright, he's spent 34 years here, so tell him thanks for his service. Everybody try to attend open house if they can. Anything else? Kenny? Mike? Dave? Else?
I don't know, else.
Just to let council know, finished up with the audit and was waiting on our exit.
What about the Easter egg?
Oh, Easter egg hunt is, April 16th, at 1 o'clock, high school parking lot. Drive through if it rains. So bring all your grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever you got. We got lots of stuff to get planned this year.
Doug? Great. Lee?
I have a question for the council, and I brought this up a couple weeks ago with Joel. We're in need of dumpsters, and I asked Joel to check on the toter ordinance. Currently, the city picks up 42 dumpsters. A lot of them are in our city buildings, okay? They're all need to be replaced. They were never actually designed for rear load. I'm not sure. It goes back. I was told it goes back to the Jim Small era that he's the one who bought those. The toters that we have, or not the toters, the dumpsters that we actually have were designed for front load, where they drove into them, they dumped them because they're square, they don't have a slope slide. Those are all busted because of the way we do it, they cause a safety hazard for the guys. And so we're starting to see some progress again. The back on the toters, our calls slowed down. A new dumpster, what I'm proposing to do would be to replace, if there's those green dumpsters we currently have, or yard and a half. My proposal is to go to a 3-yard and get rid of all those plastic ones because they are a danger. And we've had a couple, Harold Burger got hurt here back in the fall where one stuck, he was trying to pull out the truck. There, again, they just weren't designed. And so I didn't know if there was a way that we could use the toter fund money that's set aside for repair and replacement to buy some dumpsters. If we've currently got 42, if we replace them, we can cut those down in half. So the city would only have 21 dumpsters out there because the other ones are twice as big as the current ones using it. It'd be less wear and tear, less danger for the guys because they are on the slope front end. They pull from the top, not from the bottom.
Do you have any, codes ordered that we?
No, everything that we've got is, as far as I know, is paid for.
We're doing pretty good on those, aren't we?
Yeah, we put out, when we started this, and I think we ordered the first toters through July or August, 2 years ago. We put out almost 4,500 toters in that list. So,
I believe, after consulting with Mr. Harvey, our ordinance does not stipulate a size, it merely says a toter. And so I believe you can feel safe in ordering those. And I think, after you explain that, I think it's, justified in its goodness.
Well, I've got a quote, and everything has went up. The 3-yard replacement, and I've got a picture of what they would look like. It's the same thing that we put in the pool. They're $1,090 a piece.
Is that metal?
That's iron, yeah, that's metal, and they're brand new, they've never been used. And it would just be a better outfit, and it'd be safer for the guys that done.
And they'll be more durable, and some of them you only use seasonally.
Right.
So, I mean, they're gonna last us a long time.
Yeah.
So,
And I know at Lily Diamond, the ones there are really in sad shape.
and they'll look better. I don't think it takes them, I don't think we gotta do anything here. State ordinance, I think it's okay.
Okay. Well, I knew Joel he said probably need to bring it up to see.
Is anybody opposed to that?
How is I know when people call and get replacements or repairs, is that list down? Are we?
Yeah, we're pretty much, if they call in today, they're getting their toter tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean.
The only reason I ask is because, when we were talking about that ordinance, that was like my push.
Right.
So as long as we are doing that, we feel good about where we're at.
We've got we have replaced over 45, right at 4,500 toters so far since it started, which is about 25%. Okay, and we've still got, I think I've got about 700 on hand, and we're getting those out every day. So right now we're down to the point that if you call in today,
great.
Hopefully you'll get your toter tomorrow.
Awesome.
So that's,
I appreciate that.
So,
How many is you gonna order?
well, I don't, Greg, it would take 21 to totally replace all of those. Now, the price would come down at over 15. So,
I just wanted to figure,
yeah.
So that's a good count.
Yes, we counted 3 times. We would need 21 of the dumpsters to replace all the green ones that we currently have.
Aaron, I told Lee, go ahead, Jay.
Would you mind doing something, Lee, once you get that solidified, would you mind sending that information out to us?
Yeah, that's fine,
I told Lee the other day, I said, I know you're doing a good job with these toters because now I'm not getting at least 3 phone calls and 3 Facebook messages every week.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Haven't had one in several months, so, so they're doing great, you're doing a good job.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Yeah, to answer your question, there are roughly 80,000 sitting in that account right now.
So we're probably looking to replace them all. There was shipping on, I got a quote for 10. With shipping, it'd be 12,000, so if you double that, you're looking at 25,000.
Well, I just wondered if you were gonna order anything extra, like for replacement or whatever.
Not now, I think if we can get those in here, we shouldn't have it, yeah.
And you might be able, there might be one or two of those other ones you keep in reserve. just in
Yes,
case.
we could, yeah.
So, you give him the go?
Yeah, we don't have any, really, he doesn't necessarily need to go from us on that, because it's located in the ordinance, but it's nice to be, ordinance.
Appreciate the communication.
So while we're talking about that, just to communicate, since we have some county folks here tonight, at Memorial Park, they have, gee, maybe I shouldn't be talking about this, because I don't know if you have a new director out there.
You're fine.
They've asked us if we would pick, if you guys buy your own toters, that on Fridays only,
Mondays and Fridays, so.
Mondays and Fridays, if you would pay us to pick up your trash. I guess you have a trash truck out there that's went down and have.
That's a park board, honestly, that's a park board thing that hasn't been brought, as far as I know, brought to the commissioners, so.
It's gonna be coming up.
I'm sorry, I'll stand up. Sorry, I'm assuming that they're gonna be, the board has voted or will be voting to pay for that out of their budget. They haven't brought it to us at this point yet, but we don't have our next meeting until the 13th. It has happened recently, so we'll take it as it comes.
Well, they just asked and we
Okay.
looked into it, and, if I told them we had time, we would do it. But we said yes, so you probably won't see that service.
And just to be clear on that also, we're not replacing a private contractor.
Right. They have their own trash truck.
They have their own trash truck.
Exactly.
This does not include the horse folks.
Right.
Okay.
It's just the park.
Saddle Club. This is just the park. And they came to us, we did not go to them.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Because again, our park board is different than your park board. The commissioners appoint, the park runs the park board runs the park, we get involved when necessary. So, but I'm sure they'll be coming to this. Yeah, Todd, it's because it's a Memorial Park, it's different. I'm sure if they need to, they'll come to us at our meeting on the 13th. All right, thank you for the heads up though.
Sure. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Murphy? Now, Corey, if I offended you, I know you're hard to offend, I'm sorry. Appreciate that, that's an inspiration for me.
Yeah, fine. We're not gonna please everybody, you know, with $13 million worth of requests, it's a way less number. But I'm proud to be a part of that process. So I handed you a proposal for a county wayfinding study. The only action I am asking for tonight is a couple volunteers from the council to serve on a city-county steering committee to see if this can be implemented. This is a comprehensive signage location plan to identify county and community destinations, preferred vehicular and bicycle routes. And you can go through the scope of services. It essentially provides a map and a recommendation on where to put these signs. And so this is a study. And I know sometimes studies aren't looked upon fondly, but I think it makes sense to do a study because the study will tell us where the signs can go. In other words, compliant with county, state, and city transportation. We just can't go out and put a sign up just because Jerry and I think we ought to put a sign up.
So it goes to the cut. So does that mean that they will, hopefully when this is all done, they'll say, they'll find locations?
Yes.
Actual locations?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I know. And this is connected to our tourism effort. Because we're all in Henry County. I realize that we're in the city of Newcastle right now. But to have a brand, so downtown Newcastle, it has its brand. Where love is, where love was born. That's fine. Thank you. Got corrected. Love lives here. A lot of love in this room tonight.
You've got a sticker on your door. You've got a sticker on the door that says.
Yeah, I got a sticker on my laptop.
That's all right.
I need thoughts and prayers. Anyway, that's okay. Signage that worked for that brand could jive is a technical term, can jive with the other signs, right? We wanted to be unique to the community, so Knightstown, Middletown, it's a coalition of the willing. If Knightstown wants to participate, they're welcome to. But right now, I got a couple county council representatives. Tourism has endorsed this. I'll be making a similar pitch to the commissioners. Just putting together a team to figure out, do we want to do this, city and county? How are we going to fund it? But let's not fund it if we're actually not going to do the signs, right? If we just think this is a bad idea, then let's not do the stuff. If you drive through Pendleton, they've got some nice signs that tell you where things are. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a sign that tells you where the McDonald's is. I'm talking about a sign that tells you where the parks are, where the tourist attractions are, where as locals, I don't know, I've been here for almost 10 years, I think, and probably not quite local yet. It's really for visitors, or our residents. So,
would this include potential signage where trucks might go?
Probably not, but we could ask them.
I mean, I know Mr. Chaplin's come before us and mentioned that we would be better off if we had, there's no signage really saying where trucks ought to go, and he drives a truck and said we'd be better served if we had some of that. Ask him. So, what do you need from us tonight?
Well, just in a conversation with Councilman Dickett, even though after you asked me here, he's interested in volunteering. There are other puppies interested.
Mike's been into this for a while.
You and I work together on a sign.
And you need two, and those guys, if they're willing, Mike and Will, that's great.
Kind of clear on, we'll be back or they'll be back.
Cool. Your guys.
Thank you. Any questions? Let's include you in adjournment. Any questions unrelated to this?
So at some point, is the money value brought before us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the working group, representative of city council, county council, commissioner, tourism, etc., we can all collectively come together with a recommendation and go and move forward. But it's a coalition of the willing. If Knightstown wants to participate, we can. If they don't, it's okay.
Yeah, Greenfield kind of do something like this.
Well, in Hancock County, the schools have done that. You've now entered, you've now entered in Eastern Hancock School Corporation or Southern Hancock, which is New Pal, I think.
They have some of those in on roads you wouldn't look at as being a thoroughfare.
I know in Shirley, there's competing signs, because Knightstown is playing with that. In the Charles A. Beard School, on one side is Charles A. Beard or Knightstown, on the other side is Eastern Hancock.
Well, on the truck routes, I mean, if it's on a state highway, I'm assuming NDOT has to be involved. If it's a local road, can we just put a sign up that says truck route? I mean, that's what I see.
I'm sure we probably could.
Well, we have had signs that say where trucks are not to go.
Positive. I'm all about, positive signs. Tell me where to go. Tell me where to park. Don't tell me where I can't park. Don't tell me where I can't go. Tell me where to.
Most definitely, signs.
Real quick, I talked about this, but in the interest of communication. Tomorrow, the county will finish its approval process for the incentives for the Boar's Head expansion. And while that is not inside city limits, I have said many times that it benefits all of us. It is a substantial proposed expansion, $120 million expansion, 100,000 square feet, so it doubles their processing facility, or nearly doubles the processing facility, and it's over 100 jobs.
120 new jobs by June of '24. So we worked through an incentive process with our partners at the county, and we have 2 meetings tomorrow to finalize that. So
And we kind of like their second family location.
Well,
They're really interested.
yes, and one of the meetings in the recent months, talking about this project, like most families, most companies, businesses, they have choices where to make an investment. And they chose here.
Can you do things like this for without incentives? I mean, you just can't compete if you don't. It just won't happen.
So the thing about incentives, if it is a good place to do business, right? Fundamentally, if it's a good place to do business, then incentives make a good place better. So that's where incentives come into play.
That's why it's been easy for them to make the choices that they have. So,
Thank you for your continued support.
thanks, man.
One other thing, earlier this morning, I think in Board of Works, you guys accepted the bid for site. Is that right?
Yes, we had 2 of them come in, we solicited 3. We had 2 come in and they were at 15,000 and we ordered one for 26,000. And that's what you guys allotted, I think, 78,000.
We might want to think about, I know Aaron brought up the sidewalk going around.
I mentioned that to him this morning, and I don't think anybody chimed in after that, but sidewalk on the east side of Main Street, along the Baker Avenue to the school line.
Right.
That would cover
We
our
might
property.
need to, because we probably have enough left over right there to do that. If you want to use ARPA funds, yeah. Why don't we amend that just to allow that little section to be a part of that? And all, if council, I mean, we can vote on that next week. So, any citizens wishing to come forward?
Yeah. Sound a bit disappointed in this council administration. What Aaron brought up, being transparent, is very, and what I've seen over the last couple of meetings, the transparency between the council is terrible. When you get cut off on when you want to discuss something, it's just not right. That's what this board's supposed to be here for, to discuss what's going on. And the president has twice cut people off, not allowing discussion, or trying not to allow discussion, excuse me. And I think that needs to change. You need to make your decisions with a lot of information. If that information's not there, you dig for it and find out the problems and why you're voting no or why you're voting yes. And that hadn't been happening the last couple of meetings. So I'm very disappointed in that. And then on the food and beverage thing, this last minute deal, apparently there wasn't any transparency there either. Because Mr. Perdue said he didn't get a call about it. There needs to be discussion between all of them. It's not individual votes here. It's majority. So make that happen. Everybody's got transparency problems here, and you all need to work on it.
Anything else?
I'm just going to piggyback on what Mike said. But a month ago, I contacted each one of you, including Mr. Coker, about how you voted on the VRAM. I wanted to know if you did the homework. I wasn't talking about a gentleman that you voted for. I wanted to know if you did the homework, if it was brought to your attention. I found out that it wasn't brought. Communication wasn't there, only to 3 individuals. The person making the motion, the person seconding the motion, and the other person, one other person. That's just not right. But in talking to you, each individual was very
respectful, except for one. And he disrespected me. He took it personally, and I didn't appreciate it, and finally I had to hang up. This is not right. You've got to listen to us. I had a park board meeting. I was interrupted, except I had someone from the audience had something to say. And I listened. And I expected the same response tonight from who was conducting the meeting. And I did. And I just appreciate, I'm not going to ask you guys to go through me. I want you to go through your community. And you're not listening. And don't be disrespectful. I think there's a personal problem, an ego problem, but that's me. And don't be disrespectful. Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, meeting adjourned.
So, you just